Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. So, the first 3 months of the second Trump term were wild. So much happened in such a short amount of time that it was almost impossible to believe that this was happening in the first 100 days of a presidency. But I guess that's what happens when you have a gap term and plenty of time, when you have 4 years to think about what you would do if you got the job again. He got the job, everything was in place, and the president, he executed, he pulled the trigger on a lot of stuff, from trade deals to border issues, executive orders, one after the other, fast and furious, in front of crowds. And his supporters ate it up. People who were not necessarily political, still incredibly surprised at the pace and scope of what happened in those first 100 days. But would you have believed all of the stuff, from gossip to foreign policy, if you hadn't been paying attention to the news? It was impossible to avoid the news unless you were sequestered in a house. And that's what Fox Nation did. Greg Gutfeld hosted a game show called What Did I Miss?, where the contestants were sequestered for 90 days with no media, no newspapers, no internet, nothing, no TV, no phones, no communication with the outside world. So they had no idea what was going on in those first 3 months of this Trump presidency. And then they had to go and compete in a game show hosted by Greg. And the results were absolutely wild. I hate to spoil it, but we do have the winner, Mike Brown. Welcome to Kennedy Saves the World.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So what did you first hear about the show before you agreed to sign on?
So all that I heard, if I go all the way back to the beginning, was I honestly just seen a Facebook ad looking for loud personalities who weren't afraid to speak their mind.
And where do you live?
Newcastle, Indiana.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is that northern or southern?
Midwestern.
Okay, because I'm from southern Indiana, and I don't know Newcastle. So I was assuming that that's not Jackson or Jennings County.
Nope, it's about 45 minutes east of Indianapolis.
Okay, nice. So you are in the great state of Indiana, and you get the call. Where did you stay, and how quickly did you go from learning you were going to be tucked away for 3 months to actually showing up at the house?
So where we stayed at was in somewhere in upstate New York, about 2 hours away from New York City.
Beautiful.
So I don't even remember the name of the town. If they told us, I don't remember. But I had about, from the time that it was confirmed to the time that we left, I think I was confirmed about the 1st of December.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that would have gave us, about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Plus, and then throw all the holidays in there.
Good.
So had about that long.
And what did you tell your family? Were you allowed to tell them, hey, I am doing a show for Fox Nation and you can't get a hold of me? Or did you have to be completely mysterious and say, I'm getting plastic surgery and assuming a new identity? You won't see me for a long time.
Well, with my immediate family, I could tell them.
Okay.
So once I got the original call and I was talking to him, I said, I'm in, but I need you to explain this to my wife. So they actually did a Zoom call with my wife, covered everything, talked to my family, immediate family, kids. And I'm like, what do you think? Should Dad go? And they were like, let's do it. So I told my immediate family so they could help my wife with my 4 kids.
Wow.
And other than that, we kept it really hush-hush. I guess my wife, about 5 or 6 weeks in, started getting phone calls. Hey, are you okay? We ain't seen Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Did he leave you? Did you leave him? Is he in rehab?
Yeah, he went for cigarettes and never came back.
Yeah.
On his way to rehab. So you get in the house. What were the people like? What were your housemates like?
I really liked the housemates.
Oh, good.
Now, there was one that we all had some trouble with. She didn't make it all the way through. But outside of that, what we called ourselves was the core four. And honestly, we got along really well. I mean, we had our differences,
Yeah.
but I mean, if I was given the opportunity to do it again with those 4, I would do it again.
What did you do during the day? Could you work out? Could you watch movies?
Yeah.
If you don't have your phone and you don't have TV, which, that sounds nice for maybe a weekend or a week for most people, but I think for 90 days, that gets to be really tough.
Yes. So they gave us a kind of a mini schedule or a routine for each day. So that helped with the process, but we could watch movies. They sent us in specific movies. Some of it we asked for, some of it they heard us talking, and on what was called our bag drop day, they would give us new ones. No CDs because they couldn't find CDs for us to listen to. So I was the house's only source of music, and so that got real old for them.
Are you a musician?
Yes.
Okay. So at least you have some skills.
Yes. It wasn't like I was, howling like a dog or anything too bad. But we had game nights. We watched certain movies. We went through a lot of series. They set up a gym for us. So me and Mark was in the gym quite a bit, working out. And then other than that, it was, I read 8 books while I was in there, and done a lot of praying and alone time and journaling. So it was really good.
So it was more of a spiritual quest for you. Now, Greg said that a couple people hooked up. Could you tell?
Let's see. How do I want to answer this? I could definitely tell. I mean, I'm 49 years old. I've been around the block a few times, so you can when certain things are going on and when they're trying to keep the old dog out of the loop a little bit. But
is it like Big Brother? Did they have cameras in the bedrooms?
No, there were no cameras, no microphones anywhere.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it was totally.
So it's not like Big Brother because in Big Brother, at least in the first few seasons, people would really try and hide it. Now, like, no one has any shame, so there's like boning all over the house. So, could you tell that there was like a flirtation? Like, how did it start?
I'm a pretty observant person anyway. And so I could see within a few days between 2 individuals that there was some stars in the eyes and some flirting.
Ooh.
And then before too long, I mean, I knew it progressed, and I could just tell. But however, my room was on the 2nd floor, and then there were 2 rooms in the attic floor, like upstairs, above my room.
Oh no! So were you hearing squeaky floorboards?
Well, they weren't squeaky, but it was. I mean, either that was happening or they were tearing up the floor and laying new boards.
Did it go south?
Did it go south?
Yeah. Did they maintain the relationship throughout the entire time, or was it a Shakespearean tragedy?
So there was a few days where there was a little bit of a quarrel, I guess.
Yes.
I kind of stayed out of it again because I could tell. I didn't. They didn't want me to know.
Yeah.
And so I had to spend all the time with these people. So you kind of learn like what to say, what not to say, what battles to pick.
You have a wife and 4 kids. You certainly learn how to pick your battles when you are navigating a family of 6. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, and once they got out of the house, like, were they still seeing each other?
No.
That is what we call a situationship in the industry, Mike Brown.
It was very situational for sure.
That is wild. I mean, human beings are going to do what human beings are going to do. And
Yes.
if there's nothing else to do and you've got two people with the same hobbies and interests, then they're gonna find a way to go fishing.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
So you get out of the house, you get to the game. What made you good at the game? Like, how did you actually win?
Wow. How do I want to answer this? I think if I'm looking I'll go from a strategy standpoint, I guess at first. We talked, especially in the beginning inside, they're like, well, there's no way you can strategize for this. It's all luck. It's all luck. And I'm like, the strategy is you have to be aware of everything in the house the whole time.
Okay.
So you learn how people act, how they react to certain situations, how do they handle pressure. And so I really paid attention during our game nights where we had game night competition.
Excellent.
And I won the first two, but after that I didn't win any because when it comes to games, I'm extremely competitive and I want it to be by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't always want to follow the rules with the game. And so I just kind of finally just went with it, realizing and knowing that at least with one of the contestants, that if they had to follow the rules, that they probably wouldn't win anyway. And so I just learned that, and I learned how they acted in pressure under certain circumstances. And I used some of that, if I'm being honest, I used a lot of that when it came to the elimination parts of the game.
Good for you. And were you surprised at all the stuff that happened during the first 90 days of the Trump presidency?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was the thing that you found most unbelievable?
Wow. The most unbelievable. So what I found, so on the game show part, the stuff that was revealed that we had all the questions about, I would probably say that the Gaza Strip video and flying Katy Perry and the ladies into space. Because I'm like, I mean, my first thought is that's got to be fake because why would you even waste the money and the time and the energy when that could all be used someplace else?
Yeah.
And then when I found out that it was real, because I answered that question wrong, it made sense, but still. And then the Gaza video was just nutso.
Yeah. But you emerged victorious.
Yes.
You win the whole thing. You did it by reading people, and that's what a really good reality contestant does. Like they know when to pull back because, as they say, the tallest blade of grass is the first to meet the mower. So if you're always standing out, then you turn yourself into a target. So you were smart enough to win a few things and then hold back and just spend so much time reading people, which is just phenomenal strategy for, the reality aspect, but also the game aspect. And this was such a wild idea. Was it as satisfying to win as you thought it might be?
Yes, it was very satisfying. I would have been okay had I not won, just because going into it, like talking to my wife and even production as you're going through that part, I'm like, if I'm going into this using the time to come out a better, different person. Because if you have that much time and I come out and I'm exactly the same, then I really did it wrong in my book. I wanted to win. I'm competitive and I'm a risk taker. But to have that opportunity and to come out and be able to feel different, like I feel the healthiest spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically I've ever felt. And then to see people say that and realize that is the big win. But to be able to say, yeah, I won. It takes it, and then your kids see it. Like,
Yeah.
I want my kid, they're kids, and they're like, Dad's home, but, you know, they also like to say, and he won.
Anyone. Would you do it again?
I would definitely do it again, but I wouldn't do it right away, for sure. I would love to renegotiate the monetary contract part. I'm grateful. I'm very good because I'm ahead more than I was behind anyway.
Well, that's good.
I would like to see that change a little bit, but even outside of that, if my bills were taken care of and I could go in and do it again in a year
and not worry about it. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. But what a moment to be a part of history and a part of an experiment that certainly ended in your favor. Mike, this is so much fun. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I'm glad you're a Hoosier. I love the great state of Indiana. Best of luck to you and your family. And, congratulations on, really taking the time to meditate on what it means to be a good person. So that is the kind of contestant where when you come out of the whole thing and you win, people are rooting for you the whole time.
Absolutely.
And I hope when that couple has the baby, they name it after you. Little baby Mike Brown.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen.
We need new warriors in the world, and maybe
there you go.
This game show will go on and on all by itself. Mike Brown, what did I miss? He didn't miss a thing. Sharp as a tack. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And you can see the whole thing on Fox Nation. Get your subscription now, foxnation.com. This is Kennedy Saves the World, along with Mike Brown. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app. Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.